welcome back to the Women's Rugby Show Weekly podcast with me, Sam, by the way. Back again for episode 2 of season 2, where this week we'll be looking at the BUCS Women's Super Rugby from last weekend when Edinburgh took on Hartpury up at the Hive Stadium. We're talking all things Barbarians with Abi Meyrick after their tour to South Africa. We're having a look at the power-up series of the results from last weekend and also a bit of an international roundup where we'll hear from Jo Yapp ahead of Wales' game against Australia this Friday. Before we get into this episode, make sure you like this video if you're watching on YouTube or like the episode if you're watching on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. And don't forget to check us out across all social medias as well. If you don't know that, well, let's get into this one. So Lowri, obviously, just first of all, thanks so much for chatting to us today. Just obviously, it's a huge year kind of for women's university rugby with the first season of women's Super Rugby. Just how important do you think that change is going forward?
Oh, I think it's massively important. It's definitely going to have an effect on our league because now it just stops the difference between the men's and the women's league. And even BUCS, they've given us so much more coverage. There has been coverage all over TikTok, we've noticed, and Instagram since our game on Friday. It affected our team massively.
Mhm. And obviously, Edinburgh first up at the Hive, kind of home is where Scotland play. Just how big was that for the first hit out, and how do you think the game went?
It was massive. It honestly, like for our first game as well, we were all buzzing going into the game. Like definitely nerves were high, especially for our first run out. We didn't have a preseason game either. Um, but the game was amazing. Like as soon as we got into it, we just gelled so well as a team, especially because we had so many freshers. Like it just went so much better than we could have imagined. Like we went into it not really expecting the win. So to come out with a win was amazing.
Mhm. And obviously, you mentioned lots of kind of debuts, obviously, lots coming through the age system. Just how impressed were you kind of with those new faces?
Oh, so impressed. We've had so many freshers come through and coming into a team like ours, like we managed to win all three last year. Like it must be so nerve-wracking. And they have just come in like all guns blazing, to be honest, fighting for a shirt to get into the team. So for them freshers that have come through, like some of them started, like it's amazing, honestly, so good.
And obviously, a few of them kind of made the step up last year when they were still in that kind of age program. Just kind of how special is that pathway at Hartpury and how important is it kind of the future of rugby in the area?
It's amazing. Literally, I think everything to do with Hartpury, we talk about the pathway. The pathway is just so good. You don't see it anywhere else. Like the amount of college girls that we have, the second they turn 18, they come into the BUCS program and they thrive. Like they literally thrive. It's like they're already ready for it, especially because the college level is so high. Like we all our BUCS girls, we go and watch the college, and it's literally exactly like BUCS. Like they play at the same level. So coming into that BUCS, then they're prepared for it, and then the girls then go up into the Gloucester Hartpury setup, and it's just literally knock-on effect. It's so good.
Who were the kind of the ones to watch this season from kind of that age group then coming through the first years?
Um, put me on the spot. Oh, there's so many. There are so many, but as a back, I would probably say Daisy Aspinall is obviously a big one to watch. Abby Pritchard is very good as well. Becca Jackson played really, really well on Friday. Trying to think of the ones that played on Friday too. A lot of them have been involved with Gloucester Hartpury as well. So many debuts last week. Alicia Smith is another one that's really good. She played so well on Friday and played for Gloucester last week in her debut. Yeah, so many.
And obviously, it was your first BUCS 15s game back for a long time, kind of after your injury. Just how tough was that kind of road back, and just how nice to be back out there?
Uh, it's been a long journey, I'll be honest. Like my last game was the semi-final year before last. And then I tore my ACL in the Welsh camp, like I think it was a week before the final. So I got quite unlucky and I just about was back for the semi-final last year. But the coaches and the physios decided it was too much of a risk, too much of a big game to be coming back into. So started fresh in the seventh season. So coming back into BUCS has been amazing. Like the sevens return was pretty tough. So I had quite a humbling. So coming into BUCS now, I feel really ready to just have a good last season.
Mhm. And obviously, I think there were a couple of others kind of making long-term kind of injury returns against Edinburgh as well. Just how important is that, and kind of how good does that show that kind of the systems are in place at Hartpury for people to recover from such long-term injuries?
Do you know what? It's so good. I can't like praise it enough. Like the physios at Hartpury are amazing. Like the link between the physio aspect and then coming back into play is so good. Sophie McQueen is a big one that she did her ankle and had to have surgery last year, Exeter away. And her rehab has been so good. Like she's been in and out of Gloucester, in with BUCS, and all of it has just, she came back in 8 months and had such a good comeback on Friday. And, we all just thrive coming back thanks to the physios.
And kind of just looking forward to the rest of the season, kind of, first of all, kind of what are the aims for the season? Obviously, looking at 4 in a row, I'm guessing.
That would be nice. We haven't spoken about it, to be honest. We our main focus for our pre-season at least has just been to gel as a group. We've got so many numbers now. Like as me coming in first year and 4 years ago now, the numbers were a lot lower. I'm not gonna lie, there was about 5 or 6 of us as freshers. So this year we've got, oh God, I know there was 30 freshers, I think. It's a lot. It's been tough. We've got definitely 2 teams, probably more. So we've just been trying to focus on just gelling as a group, trying to get a bit of like team dynamics going. But we are definitely excited and ready to go for these games this year, 100%.
Because your second team have got promoted as well, haven't they, into a new league?
Yes.
So kind of
Yeah.
just, I'm guessing about it's spanning the balance between making sure they're competing as well.
Yes, definitely. We've got a very, very strong two side this year. They are going to do very well in this league. And then hopefully next year they'll go into the league above, which is same league as all the teams in our league. They are twos teams. So that would be
Yeah.
so good.
I'm kind of just looking at the other teams in women's Super Rugby. Obviously, you've got Exeter have got so many of the chief skills in. You got Meta full of Wales under 20s. Just how strong of a competition do you find it? How enjoyable is it playing in?
It's so enjoyable. It's honestly nobody ever like praises it enough. Like it is so I wasn't sure about coming into Hartpury. I didn't really know much about the BUCS League until I got here. And it has been amazing. Like coming from Wales as well, like you can't get it anywhere else. Like the level is so high. And I think it really sets you up for a good career then going into the PWR because like the level is different to club rugby. Definitely. Like it's so intense. And the other teams are just getting better and better as well. So every game is just so good. Like the competition is crazy.
And kind of what are there any aims for you kind of on the pitch this season, obviously with BUCS and kind of away from BUCS at all?
Um, well, I don't really know, to be honest. I'm kind of just going with the flow. I think the rest of the girls are the same. Um, Me personally, I'd like to aim for maybe going into a PWR club because obviously my 4th year in BUCS, coming back from injury. I'm currently playing at Cheltenham, but I would like to aim for a PWR club as well as a lot of the girls are, especially with the Gloucester Hartpury side being so close to the BUCS side. It makes everyone have that drive to get involved.
Yeah, just to quickly touch on Cheltenham, obviously they've been so successful as well. So many of their players have kind of made that step up. A fair few going to Leicester. Just how important is that? Do you feel like Cheltenham is a stepping stone as well for players?
So important. We've got so many BUCS girls, myself included, that have been in and out of Cheltenham and BUCS the last couple of years, and it's just getting more and more every year. And they're so good as well with communicating with each other. So my 2nd year, I pretty much played BUCS and Cheltenham the whole year, and it was so well managed. And this year I'll be going into the same again, hopefully. But we all enjoy it so much. Like it's pretty much just to get more rugby as well. Like when we have weeks off from BUCS, like we then do that transfer into Cheltenham, and Cheltenham is such a high level, like especially now with so many girls being involved. It's really good for our team, definitely.
And just looking kind of at the rest of the squad, obviously there's so many of the BUCS squad representing the national teams. Obviously you've had Alor, Nell and Gwennon with Wales, Lucia with Scotland, and with Netherlands playing Fiji tomorrow or Thursday. Just
Yeah.
Kind of how special is that and how much of a driver is it for the rest of the squad to see that this is an aspiration for you?
Oh, do you know what? We couldn't be prouder. We've had so many girls that have stepped up into that national squad, and it really shows to the rest of us what we can all achieve. Like from girls going like Lucia playing literally the final and is now going to WXV for Scotland is amazing. And it really puts it up for the girls, for the rest of us, especially like girls coming through this year, what you can achieve by going through this BUCS system. Like Lucia's played a couple of games for Gloucester Hartpury as well, but she's pretty much gone straight in from the BUCS League, and it has been amazing to see, especially for all us girls that didn't really get a chance at like under 20s level, under 18s level. It just shows that you can, if you keep going, like you can get into them national levels definitely.
And obviously Georgia Brock, kind of alumni of the pathway, someone who's coached around the setup as well. Just her making a Red Roses debut at the weekend as well must have been pretty special.
We were all watching it on the bus on the way back from Edinburgh. We were all screaming when she got on. It was amazing, especially for a lot of us that have played with her as well. Like it's so nice to see, and she deserves it definitely. It's about time she was in there.
Perfect. So, Lowri, thank you so much for chatting to us today. And best of luck for the rest of the season.
Thank you so much.
No worries. And also, as we mentioned in the introduction, obviously we're going to be speaking to Abi Meyrick, who played for the Barbarians over in Cape Town a couple of weeks ago. A massive star-studded squad, and Abby's come through the Wales under 20s and Wales under 18s pathway, and she's kind of stepped up into that massive experienced squad. So we're going to be talking to her all about her experience on that tour. Okay, so Abby, just first of all, thank you so much for chatting to us today. Just kind of how are you and how's kind of the come down from the trip been?
Yeah, to be fair, like it was an amazing trip. Like it was once in a lifetime. I've come away with a bit of an injury. So that's a bit of a roller coaster at the moment. But everything seems to be settling down really well. So yeah, so trying to settle down. I'm still on cloud nine from being out there, I'll be honest.
And just to kind of talk to us about kind of how that call up came. Obviously, you played a lot of halfway rugby over the summer, so just how did the call up come about?
So my coach, Eleanor Snowsill, she actually put me forward. I had just come back from playing. I was injured last season as well. So I just come back from an ACL surgery. So I played in under 20s and she put me forward and I had a phone call then from Stalkers and she invited me then to go to South Africa with them, which was I thought they were lying, to be honest. I needed to pinch myself. But that's kind of how it all come about was through Snowy.
Just kind of, you mentioned the ACL injury, just kind of what's your rugby career been like today and kind of leading up to this call up?
So it's been a bit of a roller coaster. I started through college, so I was in school and then college, that's when it all kicked off. And then 18s and I come to the end of 18s and I done my ACL last year, in the start of the 20 season. So I rehabbed all the way through for a year and then come back into the under 20s camp. I played 5 games for them. My first game coming back from injury was against France. And then what happened was I come back from that, had the call up for Barbarians, and then I got injured and done my ACL again out there. So it's kind of a bit of a roller coaster at the moment, but I am battling through it. And I should be coming out at the end or a lot stronger this time. So hopefully it'll go okay.
And obviously, just kind of looking at that Barbarian squad that were out there, there was World Cup winners from England and New Zealand, and then kind of legends of the PWR. So just kind of how much did you learn from the players out there?
Do you know, I learned so much from all of them, like the likes of Rocky Clark. Like, I couldn't believe that I was even in the setup with her, like, and Kendra. It was absolutely, I learned so much from them. Even just little things like passing, volley hands, like in the lineouts, like it was such little things or in the scrum. But it goes a long way and it is such an amazing experience just to be with all of them. And just like the little chat, the little talks, like if I'd done something wrong, it'd be a pat on the back. It's fine, don't worry about it. Like do something, like it's just a game of rugby at the end of the day. Like I understand like it's a massive game of rugby, but also it's just little things that you need to learn, and it's like don't take it so serious. Whereas you're dwelling on, oh, you might have knocked the ball on, but it's no, it's okay. Like it's your next thing, and they kind of made me understand more of, okay, it's not massively serious. It's literally you just keep going, like, and it was a massive opportunity for me.
How much of those kind of players, obviously you mentioned Rocky, kind of 100 plus England caps, just how much did she take you under her wing as a fellow front row?
Do you know, she helped me out so much, and she made me feel like like I was the youngest one there. I was inexperienced. Like that was my first senior game, my first senior training session. And she would always, Abby, okay, do you need any help? Like it was always the little things. And no matter like she's, I don't know, 137 caps for England. And like I haven't played a senior game, I haven't trained like, and she just was always, are you okay? Like, do you need anything from me? And they all just helped me out so much. Like I didn't feel like I wasn't supposed to be there. Like no one put me down, if you understand what I mean.
Mhm. And just how was Cape Town? Obviously, a city not many people get to visit, a country not many people get to visit as well.
Yeah, to be fair, it was I got to see what like South Africa what it had to offer. And like we went to one of the schools there, and that was the highlight of the trip. It was so amazing. Like we went and we done some skills with like some of the children, and like we done like different like a carousel with them, and like they came out, they were singing, they were dancing, like they just loved it, and it made me love it as well. Like it was so emotional, but it was just the culture and everything. Everyone is together, like it's like a massive family up there, and it was amazing.
Mhm. Obviously, you mentioned doing your ACL out there, so how kind of did that happen? Was it in the game?
Yeah, so I done my ACL in the game. She kind of high tackled me, twisted me, and I redone the same ACL and a little bit more this time. So yeah, that was about a week ago now. So I'm just coming back from that at the minute.
Yeah, so obviously just kind of how was the kind of experience kind of facing that international team? Obviously it was your first senior game, obviously just been coming through pathway rugby. So kind of how was that first experience of a senior game being against an international team?
To be honest, it took me back. Like we went into the stadium and they were so everyone was just there, and you understand that they're actually there to watch you. Like it's such a surreal moment, and like you go in and everyone it's just eyes on you, and it's just a massive experience. And like for me, I couldn't believe it. Like I was pinching myself when I was there because I was like, am I actually here? And like when we played South Africa, like they were so physical, and it was just such a good experience. And I honestly I couldn't take that away from anyone. It was amazing.
And obviously it was some kind of the legends of the game's last game of rugby, obviously Rachel Burford as well, what kind of retiring, Emily Scott, Kendra, just kind of is it a bit of a pinch me moment playing in kind of some of these legends' final game.
It was. And like also like after the game, everyone would come and give you a hug. Like it was such an emotional day. It's such an emotional week. Like everything just took you back. Like Rach, she was such an amazing person. Like she was always like, she's like someone you look up to. And for me to be there playing with her and also just training with her, just being in that environment, it's a surreal moment. And like everyone's such amazing people. Everyone's so good, like so nice. And it was just amazing to be with them all.
Mhm. And obviously the Barbarians is kind of such a historic club, obviously in the men's side mainly, but now coming into the women's side, just it's kind of a team for life and friends for life kind of thing, isn't it?
Yeah, like I've met now people that I will be friends with like for the rest of my life. Like some of them are just like when I got home, no one person didn't message me to see if I was okay or if I knew what was going on with my knee. And like even now, everyone's still messaging, can you let me know? Can you keep me updated? Like I've met some like amazing people, and I wouldn't ever change like going out there. I know it like I got injured, but it was something I would never ever change.
And obviously ignoring the injury, just kind of how much did you think this tour and the trip and the learnings you've taken kind of set you up for your future?
Well, with that, I'm gonna put myself out there now. Like they've taught me to actually, you've got to go for things. And like when I come back and everything, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put myself out there, and hopefully I will find a team. And also like they all taught me how much I actually really love it. Like I always loved the sport, but like they just show you more why you play. Like, if you play because you want to play and like because you enjoy it, and like family, friends, like everyone just enjoys it and wants to watch it as well. And it's just such a family, and like it's not just a team, like everyone is family, and that's also what they've taught me as well.
Mm. And just final one, obviously, I was going to ask you kind of about the goals for the season, but kind of what's going to keep you busy during the rehab, and what's going to get you through this rehab?
Do you know, I think mostly it'd be like family, my friends, like even teammates, everyone will always push. And like even my physios and everyone's like, no, like it's okay, like the next step, like even going for a run, like I can't really run at the moment, but just coming back into running, like I'm gonna keep myself fit, try and build up some of my strength and just kind of overcome it all, because there's some things now I can change, do better, and then hopefully then I'll recover a lot better than what I did before as well.
Perfect. So, Abby, thank you so much for chatting to us today, and best of luck for your rehab.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
And just to round up internationally what happened last weekend, obviously there were wins for Italy over Japan, England over New Zealand, Ireland over Australia, and Scotland over Fiji. And coming up this weekend, we have today, as we're recording this, so Thursday, Spain taking on South Africa in Cape Town, and also Netherlands playing Fiji in Amsterdam. And then tomorrow we've got Kenya against Madagascar, and then Wales against Australia. And here's Jo Yapp talking a little bit about that game. Hi Joe, just a couple of quick ones from me. Obviously, you're facing Wales kind of back to back now. Just how key is it to kind of make sure you take the learnings from game one into game two?
Oh, it's absolutely massive. And it is, we've got kind of a relatively young squad with us as well. And the learnings are so important. And that's what we're saying all the time. It's about growth for us at the moment as a squad. So there was a lot of learnings to take from Ireland, and the girls have really turned it around this week and stepped up. And I can't fault their effort the way they've come into Monday's session. It's been a a big 2 days for them on a short turnaround, but they've really fronted up well.
How much have you kind of looked at Wales and kind of their performances recently?
Yeah, if I'm honest with you, Sam, we focused a lot more on ourselves because there was a lot for us to sort of get on top of from the weekend. Having said that, we have definitely looked at Wales, but the bigger focus has been on what we need to do.
And obviously lots in that Wales squad that you probably know quite well. You haven't looking forward to catching up with them maybe on Friday night?
Yeah, like you say, there's a lot of girls there that I've coached over the years, and yeah, they're a good bunch, and I know they work hard. So yeah, it'll be nice to see them.